It isn't often that we get standing ovations on our show here. Thank you for coming by and joining us.
I'm happy to be here.
You just closed 4 days here in Los Angeles, which is rare for you. You hardly ever sing in town. Right?
Well, it seems to be rarely. It's been a couple of years since I was here, and that was at the Forum, and I was happy to be back at the Universal Amphitheater. It's a wonderful place to play, although it gets a little bit cold at night.
I was there opening night, and I'm glad I brought a sweater, but you warmed that place up. And
thank you.
You brought out George Burns right at the top of the show, and it was wonderful.
He's such a wonderful man, 84 years old. He's a complete professional, and just being on the stage with him, I mean, it's a thrill.
Yeah.
The chances that we have in our business to work with people that perhaps we've always admired, that we've known about, heard about, George Burns and Gracie Allen. I used to watch that on television. And so to work with him and to be performing live with him, the movie was a real pleasure, but to do a live performance with him was just...
Yeah, he has so many classic lines. He says, if I could... I can do now at 84 what I could do at 18, which gives you some idea of what I did at 18. He's wild. Smokes a cigar through the whole performance.
The whole time. I'd come out each night, and at my microphone stand is a little pile of ashes every night.
Yeah.
George had been there.
Yeah. Singing outside like that, there's more excitement. Now, most of your concerts, you've done 116 concerts since March?
Since the last of February. Last night was our 116th concert. We have 10 more to go before we end the tour this year.
Never any 2 nights in the same city. This is a different city.
No.
Several were a couple nights?
Yeah,
that's right.
4 nights here. That included, I think, the time we had at Tahoe. And there might have been a couple of cities where we did 2 concerts.
You're just going all the time. You've got the group of musicians that you travel with. By the way, it's the most expensive, best musicians in the country. The recording guys that don't want to leave town because they're making records. You stole them.
The $6 million band, yeah.
The $6 million.
A lot of... James Burton is, I consider, the greatest guitarist in the world. He used to play with Elvis Presley. Glenn D. Hardin was with Elvis's band. In fact, he was the band leader of that group. He plays piano for me. Jim Horn has played with everybody from the Beatles to the Rolling Stones, Stevie Wonder. He plays saxophone and flute.
Your drummer's Hal Blaine.
Hal Blaine, who is a legend in his own time. I'll bet you that 80% of the hit records that you've heard or can remember have Hal Blaine on drums.
Yeah. So in this group of people, you head off across the country. Not in a bus like Loretta Lynn. You go to airports.
We have an airplane.
And you often fly yourself.
Well, I do when I fly the Lear. I'm rated in the Learjet. But,
see, that's very unusual. I mean, the other people that have planes, Roy Clark, Kenny Rogers, maybe do they fly a little bit, but they're not instrument rated.
I don't know if they're rated, yeah.
I heard a story about you that, and you are instrument rated, right?
Yes.
You can fly the Lear yourself?
Yes.
During the, what was it called when the sun was eclipsed? Somebody told me.
The solar eclipse.
The solar eclipse.
Last summer, or actually it was a year ago this past March.
What did you do? You were working
Tahoe,
Paris, right?
And it was the night we did 3 shows. Generally, you do 2 shows a night there, but the shows have all been sold out, so employees aren't allowed to come. Right. So each time that I've been there, we've held 1 extra show that we allowed employees to come, and whatever money they paid to come in went to a local charity there.
Yeah.
So that show ends about 4 o'clock in the morning, and we went straight from there to Reno and got in the Learjet and flew up to see the solar eclipse that occurred a year ago, and it was the most incredible thing. It's like we got up there and we're looking for this, and you don't quite know what to expect. I mean, I know the pictures of a solar eclipse when you look at the sun, but we were up there and flying, and all of a sudden you could look over here and you could see this shadow, and you could see beyond it and above it and south of it and us, and the shadow was moving across the face of the planet.
Gee.
And you've never seen anything like that unless you've been up in the air looking at it, And we turned and flew into the shadow of the moon.
Ooh.
Oh, boy, it was...
Blew you away.
Blew me away, that's true.
And you felt like about that big, right?
Oh, yeah.
Makes you feel very small. Yeah?
Well, there were 2 things to that. I mean, there was this aspect of the cosmos, if you will, that just totally dwarfs you, and at the same time, to be a human being, to be able to recognize that, to have an understanding of what it is that is occurring to the degree that we could, we could plot the path of the shadow across the planet, and then to be up in this incredible machine and flying it, something that we have done as human beings. Mm-hmm. There's 2 sides to that, What I found it to be was a real leveler. Put you right back in place. No more, no less than what you are as a human being as part of this incredible universe.
Well, whatever it is that you've put together in the John Denver brain, it works. There is an inner strength that you have that many of us wish we had. You know that?
Well,
is it really that true?
Are
you strong inside?
I am now, yes. And I think that I've always been strong inside, but I was not always so secure. You know, when I was a kid, John, I didn't really have a lot of friends. I didn't date a lot when I was in high school.
How can you with a name like John
Dutchendorf?
Dutchendorf.
Henry John Dutchendorf.
Who wants to hang around with John Dutchendorf?
He wears glasses and has weird hair and all of those things that they always say. But I was a very insecure person, and I've done a lot of thinking about that. And what it had to do with is that there were a lot of things that were going on around me that went on with my peers that were not representative or reflective of how I feel about myself or about life. And somehow I always had some very strong feelings about the way to live, the way to interact with other individuals, how you treat people. And that's not so often what was represented out there around me. And because, you know, I felt different. I really felt different. And what I used to do, and not having time to be with other people who were doing things that I didn't feel comfortable doing, and having the strength not to do those, you know, a lot of people get sucked into it. You're out, you want to be part of the crowd, and they start drinking, so you start drinking. Or, you know, all the different ways that manifests itself. And I couldn't do that. What I did is I stayed at home and played my guitar.
Did you have to become a loner in order to accomplish that?
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. But what I've found out is that in learning to play the guitar and starting to express some of the feelings that I was able to put into words, I found that there are a lot of people who feel like I do. A lot of people all over the world, as a matter of fact, some who don't even speak the same language that I do, but who understand or relate to the things that I say in my song. And so these feelings that I've always had that at one time made me feel different and insecure now make me feel very strong, because I recognize, you know, one of the things that I've learned is I don't care who you are, where you come from, what color you are, what political or religious philosophy you espouse, human beings are alike. There is a commonality in human experience. It is the same for all of us. And I know that.
Yeah. Exciting, though.
It is very exciting. You know, it's a wonderful thing. I have a very strong feeling about, you know, it seems to me that children choose their parents. And that, and in fact, one of the nice things that happens...
Excuse me, children choose their parents?
Yes, I think so.
How?
How anything?
In the cosmos? You mean in the greater look at things?
Well, I think so. I think that if
I think that's the unfortunate thing, is that children can't choose their parents.
No, it's absolutely off. I mean, I don't mean to disagree with you.
You can. That's what our show's all about. But how can children choose their parents? Do they put in a request?
I don't know. It has to do with the plan and the orderliness.
You really believe that?
Yes, I do, very strongly.
What belief is that? What religion is that?
I don't know that it's a specific religion. I just have a very strong feeling and a very real experience of this. This is not just something I believe. From the time that we first applied for adoption for Zachary, I knew that there's a little spirit out there that one of these days is going to become part of our family. And in any quiet moment, at night in my prayers, at a quiet moment on the plane someplace, I would speak in my mind to that little child out there and say, Zachary, we already had the name, and we were pretty sure it was going to be a little boy. We didn't know that, but I said, Zachary, Anna
You couldn't name a girl Zachary.
Zachary, Anna Kate, I said, you know, I don't know where you are or what you've got to go through until you get to be with us, but I want you to know that there are two people here who love you very much and who cannot wait to have you in our home, and that whatever it is, know that we are here waiting for you with all the love that we have in us, and you be peaceful and restful and go through what you've got to go through to get here. And I'll tell you a story. On the 13th of May, I was in New York City doing a concert. This is 6 years ago. And in my dreams that night, some people in white robes came and gave me a little boy child. And I told you we didn't know it was going to be a boy or a girl, and we were sort of led to believe that it might be an Oriental child. But when this boy came, it was a very round-eyed little boy. He had kind of an overbite. He had a big smile. He looked right up at me. And when they put him in my arms, he grabbed my thumb. And I told Annie about that the next day. Well, 10 days later, Zachary was born. And about 10 days after that is when we found out that they had a child for us, and that it was a boy, and actually he was coming from not the Orient. And the day that we went to get Zachary, a couple of things here. You know, you have baby books, and in the baby book it says, you know, favorite play or popular song or something like that. The week that we got Zachary, Annie's song was the #1 song in the country. And but we went to get Zachary, and where he was coming from, which was out of the state from where we were at the time, they were late, and we were standing in the hall. All of a sudden, these people came running in with this little baby and put him in my arms, and this little baby had the most conscious look that you can imagine on his face, and he looked right up at me, and he grabbed my thumb and looked at me, and it's like he was checking to see if this was the right guy, and as soon as he got that, he smiled and became a little baby.
See.
That's a true story.
Your little baby.
My little baby. My little baby.
And the song he was playing, and the song that was #1 on the charts, I would love to sing with John Denver. Every singer that does John Denver's material tries to personalize it in some way. I made this Jennifer song to me because my daughter at that time was, I think, 5. Everybody tries to personalize John Denver's material. The best way is just to do it like it's done.
That's very nice of you to say that. So many people have used this song in weddings or like that. And, you know, I have a very real experience with my music. A lot of people feel like you own a song, you know, and as soon as I write it, it's not mine anymore. It belongs to whoever it means something to. And as much as I wrote this for Annie, I certainly experience it in regard to our children. It's their song. I experience it in regard to people. You know, when I say you fill up my senses, it has to do with you also, and you.
Thank you, John. Senses, come fill me again. That was a kick from me. Thank you. John Denver will be right back to sing for us, right after this.
Thank you, John. It's by far the hardest thing I've ever done, to be so in love with you so long. Follow me where I go, what I do and who I know. Make it part of you to be a part of me. Follow me up and down, all the way and all around. Take my hand and say you'll follow me. It's long been on my mind, you know, it's been a long, long time. I've tried to find a way that I could make you understand the way I feel about you, just how much I need you, to be there where I can talk to you when there's no one else around. Follow me where I go, what I do and who I know. Make it part of you to be a part of me. Follow me up and down, all the way and all around. Take my hand and say you'll follow me. You see, I'd like to share my life with you and show you things I've seen, places that I'm going to, and places where I've been. To have you there beside me and never be alone. All the time you're with me, we will be at home. Follow me where I go, what I do and who I know. Make it part of you to be a part of me. Follow me up and down, all the way. Take my hand, say you'll Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us.